I've come to Spain to find out what happens in a typical day in the life of a professional cyclist. How much do they train? What do they do when they train? What do they eat? When do they eat it? Well, thanks to our friends at Mavic, they've given us exclusive access to the AG2R La Mondiale team, and we're going to find out. Mavic has an enviable heritage in pro cycling, and you may remember Si getting access into one of the service cars last year where he witnessed Chris Froome taking a spare wheel. It was amazing. I think it's going to be really good, and we're shadowing classics specialist Oliver Nason because of all the riders at AG2R, he's the one with the best name. He's also come second in Milan-San Remo and is a former Belgian national champion, so he's quite good too.
What are you doing in my room?
I'm gonna be following you around today.
What, from right now? I only got a t-shirt on, eh?
Oh, it's 7 a.m. and the rider's day usually starts with a strength and conditioning session where they do some light bodyweight exercises, some stretching, maybe some yoga moves and some core work to set them up for the day ahead. However, today is a Saturday, which means they have a day off from this strength and conditioning work. But being a GCN presenter, never take a day off. 1001, 1002, 1003. After the 7 a.m. strength wake-up call, at 8 a.m. it's time for breakfast, and the riders do so in the buffet restaurant area of the hotel. There's plenty of options available, including pastries and cooked breakfast with black pudding, but the riders aren't typically going for that. Oh no, they're going for healthier options. So things like porridge and muesli topped with yogurt and seeds and dried fruit. And omelettes are a really popular choice to get the protein in too. There's also coffee, as you might expect, and plenty of fruit. But the interesting thing for me is that the riders are consuming lots of variety and lots of healthy food, as you would probably expect, but there's no real fad diets on show. So there's plenty of gluten being consumed, plenty of dairy being consumed, and lots of carbs as well, which is essential for the big training they've got ahead. Anyhow, I better crack on and eat this because I've got the rider briefing next, which is 9:30, and I've got to be there ready in kit. Just heading over to the rider briefing now. This is where the riders get the instructions on what the day's training is going to be, and they're split up into different groups. So I'm going to find out who I'm going to be going with. I'm going to be joining Oliver Nason and the Classics group from AG2R on their training ride today. Apparently it's going to be like 5 hours long, and they're doing efforts. I mean, pray for Ollie. Let's see how long I can survive on a full gas protein training ride. Place your bets now. To help me try and fit in a bit better with the team, Mavic have kindly lent me this pair of wheels. How awesome do these look on the Pinarello? So these are Mavic's top-end wheel set, the Cosmic Ultimates. They're 40 millimeters deep and they're tubulars. They've got carbon spokes on them and these like amazing carbon flanges and carbon wrapped on the hub. And they're said to be incredibly stiff, and being tubular, they're very light. They're only about 1,200 grams a pair. I just can't wait to ride these. They look amazing. I'm going to do a free-up sound check as well, actually. Oh, that does sound good. So these are the wheels that the AG2R La Mondiale team ride like 90% of the time when they're racing. They do have the deeper Comet 60mm wheel, but they tend to use that on really flat stages. Whew. Can't wait. Question: how do you spot a British cyclist amongst a load of European professional cyclists? It's 18 degrees and I'm the only one in shorts. Oh man, they're all in tights. Today's training ride is 160 kilometers with over 4,000 meters of climbing. A big day. It begins in Altea on the Spanish coast and heads inland to the Col de Rats, a favourite training climb for the pros in this region. It's around 20 minutes long. Today the riders are doing some low cadence strength efforts in Zone 3. However, their training varies from day to day.
These guys, that's wrong. How come you're like only filming when I'm on the back? Well, I'm clearly on the front most of the time, but you never film those bits. You're making me look rubbish. Oh, savage. So, the guys were riding up there at their tempo pace, their sort of Zone 3. And for me to keep up with them on the Col de Rats, doing tempo, sitting in, was like me doing PB power, going full gas. I'm wrecked. God, I hope the ride's over now. Only like 3 more hours to go. What is this climb? It's killing me. Like 20%. I'm getting gapped. So I'm going to go in the Mavic car now. It's 3.5 hours into the ride, but I'm just going to go back to the hotel in the car because, I mean, like Oliver and the other guys, they were just saying I was riding too fast. So I'm just gonna go, you know, it makes it easier for them. So it's not because I was getting dropped. That's not the reason. Anyway, back to the hotel.
In all seriousness, it was an amazing experience to ride with these guys. For a mortal like myself, riding next to world-class athletes gives you an incredible insight into how strong they are in a way that you can't normally appreciate. It really is inspiring.
Tell you what, I can't wait for lunch after that. I'm absolutely starving. You may be interested to find out what the guys are having for lunch. Well, there's a massive buffet selection again for lunch here at the hotel, and they're typically going for a good source of protein, so there's a variety of meats and fish on offer, and then loads of carbs. Rice is the most popular, so big pile of rice, because it's so important to get the carbs in and refuel and get the glycogen stores topped up after a training ride like that, where they're typically burning 3,500 to 4,000 calories. Also lots of veg, getting in the micronutrients, so there's plenty of veg on offer there. Then there's the pudding zone at the buffet, my favourite part of the buffet. It contains a wide variety of patisseries and cakes, but the riders are steering clear of that fun part of the buffet. They've got their own separate pudding zone, which contains whey protein and dried fruit and nuts and seeds and stuff. Anyway, they're enjoying that, and yogurts are popular as well as another way to get in a bit of protein and lots of fresh fruit. Once lunch is over, it's time for downtime, which means if you're a pro, you go and get a massage. I've just got to kind of massage myself because I'm not a pro. While the riders are enjoying their downtime after their hard training ride, the mechanics still have to work. So they're busy sorting the bikes out for tomorrow, fixing any problems or just cleaning them and maintaining them and making sure that they're absolutely mint for tomorrow. When I finish a training ride, I have to clean my bike myself, or just ride it dirty the next day.
Massages are great for loosening the muscles and helping get rid of waste products. Ask any pro and they will say that anecdotally, they just feel really good. Oliver also uses the afternoon to see an osteopath to help open his legs and back after a crash he had in December. The riders will also stretch in the afternoon and generally just focus on recovery.
Hey man, thanks for the ride today. Thanks for dragging me around. It was, yeah, it might have been easy for you, but it was blooming hard for me.
Yeah, that's what we do. Whenever there's a non-pro there, we always try to kill him.
But I mean, like, how many hours? I mean, is that a typical day for you? That sort of 5-6 hours?
It's a pretty big day. Yeah?
Yeah.
For me, yeah. The 6 hours is like the most I ever do. I try to have like between 20 and 30 hours in a week in winter. Those are the nice weeks for me.
Yeah. And today, after the normal ride with everyone else, you did some motor pacing.
Yeah.
So like, why? What's the reason for doing motor pacing in your training?
Just to put in a bit extra, you know. Every day the team rented some scooters out, and every day there's 2 guys who do a little bit extra. And today was my lucky day.
And what does it help you with doing the motor?
To get some speed in the legs. Because like today we did a lot of climbing, and also some force work, almost only force work, which is like low RPM, high gear stuff. And I like it to afterwards spin the legs a little bit.
Nice. So what other sort of training sessions are you doing, and what sort of intervals and things?
There's so much. There's so much. I think like variation is key.
Yeah.
If you say like, no answer can be right, I think if I would say force only, it's wrong. If I would say spinning only, it's wrong. Sprinting, I mean, just have to listen to your body and try to put in as much different stuff.
And you're a classic specialist. So
sounds nice.
Well, you are, but I mean, you know, the results say so. Is there anything that you do differently from the other riders that's specific for the demands of?
Yeah, you know? I think like a good classics rider needs to be really endurance and also very punchy. So it's something between a sprinter and like a stage racer. Yeah. So you have to put in the hours, and you also have to put in the intensity. It's like some classic riders are a bit of a hybrid between climbers and sprinters, I think.
Yeah. And when you're doing like a typical day at like a training camp like this, you know, how many hours a night sleep are you trying to get afterwards? Because it's big days, day after day.
A lot depends on the roommate. Yeah. So I try to get like 9-10 hours.
But what do you and the guys do in your downtime?
When the team's there, it's most of the time like meetings, osteo, kine, massage. But when I'm alone on a training camp, like the past 2 weeks, it's actually pretty boring. Yeah. I open my laptop, put on GCN, and have a nap.
Good. Well, you know, you're watching the right channel. But I mean, even if it does help you get to sleep, I guess that's good. It's now 8 p.m. and it's dinner time. The riders are behind me, enjoying the buffet once more. It's much the same kind of deal as what we had at lunchtime, and the riders are just getting in fuel and making sure they're recovered so that they can train again tomorrow. Thankfully, I don't have to do a really hard ride tomorrow. I don't think I could. One observation is that culturally, being a French team, they eat quite late, 8 p.m, whereas other teams from other countries, they sometimes eat a bit earlier, around 6 p.m, but it's just a different way of doing it. Speaking of which, I am starving, so you're gonna have to excuse me because I'm gonna have some food myself.
The main thing I want to get across here is that the day of a pro is fun, but there is a serious amount of dedication and commitment. It's not a rock and roll lifestyle, it's about getting in the hard training and then recovering and getting an early night.
Well, that's it for the day. The riders will now go and chill out, and as Oliver says, most likely be getting an early night, as sleep is so important for recovery. And a massive thanks to Mavic and AG2R La Mondiale for giving us the access today, because it's been amazing. And also for Oliver Nason for giving up his time and for being such a nice chap. Be sure to keep an eye out for him in the classics. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you'd like to watch Si in the Mavic service car, well, you can do by clicking here.